Hi everyone, this is Professor Bowen-Moore. This video is going to talk about just the general orientation of the interface for Adobe InDesign. And it looks a little intimidating at first when you open up, and I've got a document opened up. If you are first opening the program for the first time, you may have a little screen pop up initially, but you can always start a new document in the very top menu on your desktop. Um, and you can under file and you can start new. And it'll give you choices there. I have the syllabus pulled up because I put it together in InDesign. It is our layout program. It is for doing layout for print, anything for digital. These days, they no longer, I mean, some old schoolers will still use Photoshop for web design, designing pages for a site or mobile apps, the static screens. But the current capabilities that InDesign provides gives you those capabilities to design layout for web and mobile as well. And we will use InDesign for that. It's just a lot easier with the capabilities that they provide than what Photoshop provides. But it's our layout program, whether it's for print or digital. We use this to combine text and images to create our visual messages here. And it can accommodate a lot of file formats, a lot of levels in resolution, and things like that. So it is a great tool. And when you open, you'll see that you've got, your basic work area surrounded by icons and areas. So I just want to kind of describe what's going on with that, as it tends to be overwhelming to some when they first open. But to ease your mind a little bit, a lot of these icons are just repeated in various locations for the comfortability of the user and the person using it, because it is designed to give you optimal working space to fit your comfort levels. And you just kind of have to play around with it to figure out what works for you. Across the top here, we call this the control panel, and it's going to contain tools that relate to whatever tool you're using in the toolbar, which is on your left here. So if I were in the selection tool, it's going to give me options here. That's, either of these selection tools will give me the same kind of options here. If I'm in the type tool, I'm going to have different options. I'm going to have the character formatting tools and paragraph formatting tools for working with type. So little things like that. If I'm working with shapes, it's going to give me, similar to what the selection tool gives me, I have color, fill box, I have outline and stroke, color and fill box. I can access my color picker from here and things like that. And we'll go through some of the tools and how to make use of some of these things as we progress throughout the year or the semester. On the left with your toolbar, you have different views, and any of these tool areas can be separated from the bar or the outside edge. At the top, you'll see these little dotted lines. Here, it's on the side of the control panel. Over here, you have with the tool icons, the little dotted line. That's basically where you can click and drag it around the space to fit what's comfortable for you. The arrows here give you different views of the toolbar. So whatever's comfortable for you there as well. So if I click it once, right now I have a double column view. I can also make it a single column. I can also make it horizontal. So if I want to stick my toolbar kind of up here for more access that's comfortable for me, I can do that. If you decide that you want it back over in the side, you'll just click and drag it back over until you see the blue, and then you can release and it'll go back into your border, the area there. And this is the same with the control panel. It does the same thing. On the right side, these are tools that are essentially the same as what you see in your control panel. They're just going to give you a few more options. So as you can see here, I've got tabbed together my paragraph, my character format or styles, my paragraph styles. Here are my paragraph formatting tools. If I'm in the type tool working with typography, I've got those same tools up here in the control panel, as you can see. But again, it's just where you want to, feel more comfortable working. And sometimes the window tools will give you other options as well. The little hamburger stack menu icon also gives you options that you can go further with your selections. So this is your window tools over here, or window panels. The ones that you have open are what's going to be showing up over here. They can be expanded. Again, you've got the little arrows to make them invisible. I've got them consolidated down to the icons. You can move them around. So if I open my paragraph window, I can make my character formatting window show up. I don't even think I've got it open right now. So if something's not viewable that you want viewable over here, it's going to be in the very top menu under window. And then you can go down the list. Anything dealing with type is going to be under type and tables. And so I can select character formatting window and it will pop up. And I can put it in the same window as my paragraph window. I can kind of have those tabbed together since they were late. You don't have to do that, but sometimes it makes it easier. I can click and drag them and expand it into the bar on the right border. I can, again, I can separate them. I can reduce them down to just the icons. I can move them around. I can place them over here to kind of make my work area bigger if it's starting to impede on my work area. So little things like that you can do to kind of navigate and make your workspace accommodating for you personally. Now, along the bottom of your work area, you're going to see a few icons down here. We have our pre-flight window, which if I click on where it says no errors at the moment, that means there are no errors being detected in my file. So you'll have different errors that pop up sometimes. It'll be the most common are missing links, which is like if I place this image in my document and I go to the little link window over here, you can see that it's showing both images that I've placed in my document. So it's linked to them where they are on my computer. If this were missing, or if I moved those images on my computer from where it was linked to on my computer, then it would show an error of missing link. And you would see a little question mark on the bounding box of the image itself in the layout. Another common one is type, overset type errors. That may be when I have a text box and I have more type than what is visible in that text box. You can see a little plus sign popped up here, and it's showing an error. And when I look at that in the pre-flight window, if I keep clicking on it, it will show me where it is. So it's kind of highlighting this bounding box and showing me where the overset type error is. That generally just means that sometimes it's extra space where you've hit the return key too many times, but a lot of times it's going to show you when you have more type than what's visible there. There's something missing in its visibility. So the pre-flight window just kind of gives you an idea if you've got some errors there that might make a difference when you are getting it ready to present somewhere, whether in print or digital format. And then if you've got a large, like this document only has 8 pages, but if, I've done books and designed entire books that have hundreds of pages. And so sometimes it's easier to jump if you're having to jump from page 2 to page 250. you can use this and it makes it a lot easier than just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling until you get to the page. So these little things kind of make your process more efficient at the bottom as well. And you do have, you can scroll here to see, here I've got all my pages laid out. And I've got my tools over here. I stay in the selection tool most of the time because that lets me select any object or any element that I've got in the layout itself. But that's a basic orientation. You do have a ruler as well up here across the top and on the sides for vertical dimensions. And so usually it's in whatever format or units that you're working with. So in print, we work with picas and inches. Picas is what it automatically goes to by default. If you switch to inches, it'll show you that conversion in inches. If you're required to keep picas, then you can, punch in, this is typical letter size here, or technically it's custom. Let's, if we were setting this up for print and letter size, that's 51 picas by 66 picas. But if I were to type something in 8.5 inches, the double quotes to represent inches, it would convert it for me to picas. So know that, but you can also select inches. If it's in inches, then your ruler will be in that same unit. If you want to change the unit of the rulers, right now I've got it in inches. But if I were to want to change that back to picas, I can just control click the corner and I can change those units to whatever I would like. So we can change it to picas here, or control click again and go back to inches. Command or control R makes your ruler visible or invisible. Or invisible. And you can drag guides. You see these little turquoise lines in my layout. That's where I have click and drag guidelines to kind of help me align certain things in my layout. So you can click and drag those just to help you. Obviously, they don't show up when printing. So you can kind of, and if you don't want them, you can just click them and drag them back towards the ruler and they will disappear. So as you can see, you can do a lot with this, way more than you can do with the standard word processing program, or template-ware for that matter. This is where you can execute any type of vision for layout. If you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to talk to me. And like I said, this is a basic orientation just to kind of get used to the interface. We will go more in detail with the tools at some point, throughout little by little throughout the semester. Okay. Thank you for listening and looking forward to this semester.